8 rural New South Wales local government areas have entered a snap 7-day lockdown after a local Walgett man tested positive to COVID. Joining me live now is the Walgett Shire Mayor, Ian Woodcock. Ian, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. Can I start off by asking how you're feeling, how your community is feeling this morning?
Down because we knew that it was probably inevitable that it was going to get here at some time or other because of what's been happening, but it is a bit disappointing, yes, under the circumstances.
What is your biggest disappointment, Ian?
Just that the person was allowed to travel.
Out of Sydney?
Out of Bathurst.
Yep. I mean, and it would have come out of Sydney anyway, being that's where it's come from. But so what should be in place at the moment?
Well, they've got a lockdown for 7 days. We have, so you're only allowed to leave home for essential items and get back home. No visitors or anything like that. That's going to be rather hard. It's hard enough in any area that you live in, but when you live out in the country area like we do, we're just used to wandering around and doing whatever we want to do.
Sure. Yeah,
so it makes it a bit difficult.
Yeah, no, it's definitely new for you at the moment. So what is your biggest concern at the moment, Ian?
Probably a little bit of panic. We have a lot of visitors, there's over 100,000 visitors a year go through Lightning Ridge. I live at Lightning Ridge, and we have well over 100,000 visitors here every year. And there's a lot of people that have left. I don't know where they've gone because probably not supposed to go anywhere. But there's still a lot of people here in the caravan parks and things like that. So they'll have a bit of a problem, I would imagine, being able to confine the barracks in a caravan, whatever size they're in. But, it's something new for our communities up here that we've never had to go through before. We've heard about it and watched it on the news and things like that, but we've not had to go through it ourselves.
So many people in the western parts of the state too have concerns that it could get into the Indigenous population. Do you have those issues as well? Is that something that rates highly?
I do. Yeah. This positive case that we've got is an Aboriginal chap, and it's just a shame that it's happened, and because they do live in very close quarters at times and things like that. They're a lovely mob of people, but some of their living conditions are a bit different to ours, I suppose.
Vulnerable. They're vulnerable.
Very vulnerable, yeah.
And so can you spell it out for those who might not be aware? How the Indigenous population in Walgett, is it actually in Walgett itself, or is it in surrounding areas of Walgett? Just explain that.
Well, in Walgett, the case was in Walgett yesterday. So, they're just trying to work out how they're going to tackle it because it's quite a touchy subject.
Sure.
And it's just one of those things. But they'll get on top of it today. They've got to drive through and walk up testing stations today. They'll be operating this morning from about 10 o'clock, I think. And then I think the day after, or in 2 days, they're going to have where the vaccinations will be available. So it's a shame because some of this was supposed to happen a week ago or 10 days ago, but then they took it back to Sydney because they needed it down there for the kids for the schooling, and I understand that too. But it's left these people out here very vulnerable.
So you actually lost vaccines, Ian?
Yeah. Well, the whole Western area did.
Yeah.
See, it was supposed to start in the whole Western area, and it covers right all this northwestern area. They were advertising on the radio and saying, the clinics will be open and Pfizer would be available through the clinics, and all you had to do was ring up and book in. Well, people did that because they were very keen to get it done, and then they rang them back and put it off because it all went back to Sydney for the high schools.
You must be filthy at that.
Well, it's something that had to happen. I can understand the kids, they've got to get them into school because, they've missed so much already. And it's getting up to their exams and things like that. So, it is annoying, but it's one of those things. I think I think there should have been a little bit more thought go into it.
Well, I've spoken to a few people in the last week in particular, particularly around Newcastle and the Hunter. They lost their vaccines to go to the kids, and the government had to end up walking that one back. And they've definitely expressed their frustration to me, and so I don't think you're out of line saying that you're frustrated. And
they've made there's been some very bad mistakes made, and I just hope they can rectify them.
So, are you sure that they can?
Well, it's debatable, isn't it?
Yeah,
we'll see.
So what is actually the plan that's got to take place? You just referred to it then. You've got to get testing going on, particularly in the Indigenous community, Ian. Yeah. What is the plan? What's the plan today to get on top of it other than the lockdown?
Well, we're in lockdown for 7 days, so we've got to put up with that. But they'll go and have this the testing done today. Here at Lightning Ridge, they can go to the hospital at any time and be tested, and they get the results back within a day. So, as long as people will go in and have this, the treatment and have whatever's got to be done to make it possible that we can get on top of it.
Yeah, and you did mention some frustration that the gentleman was able to travel freely from Bathurst. What would be your suggestion that needs to happen from now, Ian?
Well, I would like to think that they wouldn't do something like this again. Apparently, he was tested and he was released, and before the test came back. So I'm sure that there's some mistakes were made somewhere, but I mean it's done, and so we've got to put up with it. But I would like to think that they wouldn't maybe be so silly to do something like it again.
Yeah. Have you got the resources, just finally now, Ian, have you got the resources in town that are capable of dealing with an outbreak if it gets to that?
I don't think any town's got the resources to, particularly in the western areas. I mean, our main hospital is in Dubbo. So, we've only got a little hospital there in Walgett. It's only a small. We've got a small one here in Lightning Ridge. And they're the only two places that have hospitalisation. The rest of it's anything that comes up, it's got to be either road transport or air transported to Dubbo.
Right.
So, if we do get a case, I don't know whether they'll put them in an aeroplane or how they'll take them back down to Dubbo and overcome the problem there.
Okay. Well, Ian Woodcock, the Walgett Shire Mayor, appreciate your time this morning.
All right.
We'll talk to you again soon, and best
All
of
right,
luck.
you're most welcome, Pete. Thank you very much.
Hopefully it goes well.